Alright YouTubes, how are we all doing? I hope you're all well. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be repairing in this video. I'm going to split this job into two because there's quite a bit of repairing to do. So it's a Mini Cooper S, 4-door, 5-door, whatever you want to call it. And it's in for quite nasty damage to this front door. So it's all kinked in round the handle. Some of it has popped out. It was a bit worse than that. And then it's creased through here. If it shows up too much on the camera, creased through the bottom. Poking out a little bit there. A couple of creases there. It was poking out here, but that seemed to have gone down. And then it's just rippled and just deformed all round. Probably the worst part of it is this handle recess is in slightly. It's crowned a little bit here, and it's a little bit in here. Yeah, I don't know if that shows up. And then there's some damage to the back door, so damage here and here as well. Pushed in, not so bad the back door. The line, sort of the edge of the door's gone a little bit here as well. So yeah, Reese has already stripped it, and yeah, first thing I'm going to do is I need to take some of the tension out of this. So yeah, I'm just going to get the puller out and grind this paint off here, start pulling this, get this recess in this area right first, and then I'll go through the rest of it, pull in the rest of it, tackle that. So yeah, this video would be just a repair stage, so the pull in and the filler work, and we'll get it up to primer, and then second stage will be the prepping and the painting of it. We're just painting the two doors. I'm not going to get involved with blending that little A-panel piece because there's that limited edition sticker thing that's on there, and we will be close with the colour, but being black, and you need a small little bit of room to blend, and plenty of room to blend on the back door. So yeah, that's it. I'll get set up, get the camera set up, and we'll start repairing this dent. Alright YouTubes, how are we all doing? Thanks for tuning in, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, this footage is a little bit old. I'm a little bit behind with jobs. I've got loads of footage, probably about 7 or 8 jobs over the last few weeks. But yeah, this was from a few weeks ago. But I am struggling a little bit, to be honest with you. I'm just feeling a little bit drained. It can be quite hard work doing all of it, you know, running the business and you know, doing the work as well. But Reese is a massive help to me at the moment. He is carrying me at the moment, and I'm just struggling a little bit with motivation, to be honest with you, to do the videos. Just feeling a bit down about it all, but yeah, I don't want to make all you lot feel down. Let's try and put a positive spin on it. But yeah, it can be draining sometimes, and yeah, it's very time consuming, but I still love my job, and yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's probably a bit selfish of me to be complaining because there's people a lot worse off than me. So yeah, this video, this repair, it was okay. It came out okay. I did have a few issues with it, and I'm always learning on the panel side, but I do enjoy the panel side. I enjoy the learning of the metal work and stuff. I can get it on here, but I can't see what I'm flipping. I want you to hold it round here, and then we'll probably move it up and around here. You might have to get that out of the way. So stick it under the handle first, flat side. Put fairly decent amount of pressure on it. Right. You have to sort of hold it like that. bit of that's come from the top just by pulling that bottom out.
Yeah, I thought that just then actually. Is that dimple gone? Hasn't it or not?
Nah, that's that bracket. It must have pushed against something on that bracket.
What, so just underneath the hole?
So there, on this bit here. Start here, hold it here. Yeah?
It's underneath that. Underneath the crease
Here. Yeah, there. So come this way a little bit. Just take this one. You get that, yeah? Right, now go down a bit from where you are. A little bit lower. Right, now go back up above it and put a bit of pressure on it this time. Right, a bit more. So, right, now come to here if you can.
Try there.
Yeah. Go a bit lower. And not so much pressure, so let it bounce a little bit.
Oh.
Go, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a smaller one, if it's a bit too big, there's a smaller one there. Now see if you can come to the end of as far as you can get, yeah, to the skin. Try the smaller one, so if you can get that one there. Use the curved side.
Whereabouts you want it?
Yeah.
Just underneath that. Right.
Alright, what I might do is just pull that out a little bit more first now. And then we'll do a little bit more. Stay. That's good.
Probably nearly pluggable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's under there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit low here, so I'm going to pull a little bit more of this. It's low here.
That thing's quite good because it takes all the knobbly bits off.
Yeah, it shrinks it as well, so it makes it tight.
If I find that half the time, you put it.
There's a hammer that's got serrated on it. Shake a hammer in there, use that.
Because sometimes it's hard to feel, isn't it, when it's got all the bobbly bits and it's all like sharp.
Yeah, you don't want to grind it because you have to do more pulling.
And they're sharp as well, aren't they? So if you run your bare hand over it.
Shit, where's the... So yeah, there's a fair bit of pulling on this to do, and yeah, I like to. I'd probably maybe go over the top sometimes. I don't know, but yeah, obviously I like to try and get the metal out as flush as possible and keep the filler to a minimum thickness wise, and yeah, I'm just checking the straightness of that metal work. The trouble is sometimes when you pull out, the metal's stretched when it's in, and then you pull it and it will stretch outwards, and yeah, you can end up with a ridge in it, you know, a bit of a lump and a bit of a high spot, and it's only in or out. So you know, sometimes shrinking and heat shrinking is required to get it sort of leveled out a bit more. But yeah, where it's around that recess as well, that handle, it's sort of you know, that's a point. That handle recess is it's got a bit of tension in there, so I was struggling to pull it out round there. It sort of just crept back a little bit, that recess, but you couldn't sort of see it very well around the recess. But yeah, I couldn't sort of get that recess to move really. It sort of put a little crown above it, so I knew it definitely moved. But I don't know if you can hear that it was absolutely pouring down outside at the time. So I sort of got that recess pretty much where I wanted it to be, the damage around that handle recess, and then yeah, onto the creases, and they're a bit more straightforward to straighten out. The impact bar was sort of behind that bit where I'm pulling now, so that can sort of suck it in a little bit. The impact bar hadn't moved, but yeah, it pulled out okay a lot across there. Sometimes you're better off just to leave it a little bit lower than trying to get it, you know, completely out. And then yeah, onto the back door, which was pretty straightforward. It sort of just kinked the edge slightly, but that was pretty straightforward to pull that out. Didn't take too much effort, and yeah, I do use that puller on a lot of stuff. Sometimes you could use a wiggly wire across larger bits of damage, but yeah, that combination of shrinking hammer and the flipper, it straightened up fine. So ready for the filler now. So just going around everything, feathering out all the grinding marks with 120 grit. Even though I'm rubbing the filler with 80 grit, I feather out everything around it with 120 grit. And then you're ready for the filler to go in. So I'm putting Rage Gold in for the first skim, which I'd normally do as a bulky skim. And yeah, sometimes I use gold all the way. Sometimes it's quite deep filling that gold, and it's not the easiest to rub, but it rubs decent as long as you catch it. You know, when it's just gone off. If you leave it too long, like overnight, it can be quite hard to rub. But yeah, I'm sort of experimenting and changing. I've bought some new spreaders, some big ones and some flexible ones, some plastic ones. That spreader that I've got there, they're called bog spreaders. They're used quite a lot in Australia. It's like high tensile steel, and I do like them. I prefer them to the plastic ones. But you do have to wear them in a little bit, so they can be a bit sharp on the edges. But I've probably had that spreader well over 10 years, at least 10 years I've had it. And yeah, I'm sort of, I haven't used them yet, but I've bought some sort of big sort of plastic ones to see if I can skim in a bit smoother, you know, and probably end up, you know, I go over the filler a bit too much sometimes, which can cause pinholes. The gold sort of it's a bit prone to pinholes, but I find as long as you spread it out on the filler board, it's not too bad. And I'm just knocking that first skim off, just taking the rough off with 80 grit DA with no soft pad on the DA. Just to speed things up a little bit, because I know I'm not going to get it in that first skim. Just to take the bulk off. It can be a bit tacky on the surface, so it clogs up your paper initially, so you end up having to put another strip on it. So I either use an old one, or I just knock the top off with a DA. And yeah, it didn't feel too bad on that first skim. And yeah, sometimes I would just give it a skim with the same filler. But where it was almost there, I used the Rage Ultra. And what I found with that was quite a biggish spread to do, and I'm struggling to fit it on that mixing board. And I find that if I can spread the filler out and squeeze all the air out of it before I apply it, it almost eliminates all the pinholes. But where that's quite a big skim to do, to mix on that board, yeah, I struggled to spread it out. And I didn't sort of notice. Normally what I do is whatever skim I finish on, when I finish the grade that I want to finish it in, it's normally 180 to 220 grit. I finish the repairs in depending on the size. When just before I'm priming, I normally smear it all with pore filler, and I hardly get any pinholes at all. If you can see the big chunky ones, I do it, but the little micro pinholes, the little popping ones, where it's almost like solvent pop, they're really difficult to see. Guide code doesn't highlight them, not the really small ones. And yeah, on that skim there, I never noticed until I started priming it. I had loads of pinholes, but really small ones, and I normally smear it all with pore filler. And yeah, and I didn't do it. It just slipped my mind to do it. And the pore filler eliminates all of that. But yeah, on that skim, there was just loads of little micro pinholes in it that I never noticed. So when I primed it, they were everywhere. And the primer will get a majority of them, but I don't like flooding it with primer to get them pinholes, because that can cause you issues later on. Air trying to escape out of them will cause the paint to blister slightly. So yeah, I like to, if I put the pore filler over it before I prime it, that eliminates them. And then if there's any bigger ones, then I can sort of address them in the primer, with a bit of fine filler like dolphin glaze. So yeah, knocked all the Rage Gold off with 80 grit, and then knocked the Rage Ultra off that final skim with 120 grit, and then I finished it off in 180 grit. And yeah, the shape was really good. Sometimes I'm a bit dubious about skimming just for pinholes. If I've got my shape there, I don't want to lose my shape. Yeah, I sort of try to address them in the primer if I can, if there's only a small amount. But yeah, I got that in 2 skims. Well, I got it, most of it in 2 skims. I did put another little skim in the bottom, because I felt a bit of a ripple down in the bottom. So yeah, and then DA'd round it all with 240 grit DA, feather out all the scratches. Well, it was 180 grit, then 240 grit, feather out all the sanding scratches, and then just prepping the rest of it for blending. And the usual procedure for the blend areas: 800 grit dry on the dual action sander, and then round all the edges with 1000 grit soft pad and a grey scotch. And I just done this one dry because I didn't want to get any water any near that filler. And yeah, just get it all ready for primer. I like to try and get the paint prep done before I prime, just while it's all dusty. I get all the dusty stuff done at the same time. And yeah, sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. Depends on how quick I need to get the primer on there. Sometimes at the end of the day, you want to just get the primer on there so you can get on with the next step, the next procedure.
in the morning, you know, so yeah, but if I've got time I'll get all the paint prep done before I mask it for primer. That's it, it's all masked for primer now, just giving it a final blow off. And yeah, it's 3.5 coats, MEPA 4+1, just done it in black, so I didn't have to use as much base coat, even though black covers really well. I just put a sort of like a half coat on for the first coat of primer, and then 3 good ones over that. And yeah, I didn't even notice the pinholes, you know, in the primer when I was applying it. It was only the next day when I came in I noticed them. There was just loads of little micro holes over all of it, which really annoyed me, and it did cause me issues later on, which you'll see in the second part of this video, the painting stage. You'll see what I had to do to try and rectify it without re-priming it, really. So yeah, that's it for this video. This is a repair stage on this job. Thanks for watching. I really do, and I honestly really do appreciate everyone watching. It really means a lot to me, and it's, if it weren't for you lot watching my videos, yeah, I would definitely be struggling for motivation. But all your lovely comments, it really inspires me to keep going at it and carrying on. So yeah, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you in part 2. Look after yourselves, everyone. Cheers.